A scatter plot, also called a scatterplot, scatter graph, scatter chart, scattergram, or scatter diagram, is a type of plot or mathematical diagram using Cartesian coordinates to display values for typically two variables for a set of data. If the points are color-coded, one additional variable can be displayed. The data are displayed as a collection of points, each having the value of one variable determining the position on the horizontal axis and the value of the other variable determining the position on the vertical axis. Overview. A scatter plot can be used either when one continuous variable that is under the control of the experimenter and the other depends on it, or when both continuous variables are independent. If a parameter exists that is systematically increment and/or decrement by the other, it is called the control parameter or independent variable and is customarily plotted along the horizontal axis. The measured or dependent variable is customarily plotted along the vertical axis. If no dependent variable exists, either type of variable can be plotted on either axis, and a scatter plot will illustrate only the degree of correlation, not causation, between two variables. A scatter plot can suggest various kinds of correlations between variables with a certain confidence interval. For example, weight and height. Weight would be on y-axis and height would be on the x-axis. Correlations may be positive, rising, negative, falling, or null, uncorrelated. If the pattern of dots slopes from lower left to upper right, it indicates a positive correlation between the variables being studied. If the pattern of dots slopes from upper left to lower right, it indicates a negative correlation. A line of best fit, alternatively called trend line, can be drawn in order to study the relationship between the variables. An equation for the correlation between the variables can be determined by established best fit procedures. For a linear correlation, the best fit procedure is known as linear regression and is guaranteed to generate a correct solution in a finite time. No universal best fit procedure is guaranteed to generate a correct solution for arbitrary relationships. A scatter plot is also very useful when we wish to see how two comparable data sets agreed to show nonlinear relationships between variables. The ability to do this can be enhanced by adding a smooth line such as loess. Furthermore, if the data are represented by a mixture model of simple relationships, these relationships will be visually evident as superimposed patterns. The scatter diagram is one of the 7 basic tools of quality control. Scatter charts can be built in the form of bubble, marker, or slash and line charts. Example. For example, to display a link between a person's lung capacity and how long that person could hold his/her breath, a researcher would choose a group of people to study, then measure each one's lung capacity, first variable, and how long that person could hold his/her breath, second variable. The researcher would then plot the data in a scatter plot, assigning lung capacity to the horizontal axis, and time holding breath to the vertical axis. A person with a lung capacity of 400 cl who held his/her breath for 21.7 seconds would be represented by a single dot on the scatter plot at the point 400, 21.7 in the Cartesian coordinates. The scatter plot of all the people in the study would enable the researcher to obtain a visual comparison of the two variables in the data set, and will help to determine what kind of relationship there might be between the two variables. Scatterplot matrices. For a set of data variables, dimensions, x1, x2, xk, the scatterplot matrix shows all the pairwise scatter plots of the variables on a single view with multiple scatter plots in a matrix format. For k variables, the scatterplot matrix will contain k rows and k columns. A plot located on the intersection of ith row and jth column is a plot of variables xi versus xj. This means that each row and column is one dimension, and each cell plots a scatter plot of 2 dimensions. A generalized scatterplot matrix offers a range of displays of paired combinations of categorical and quantitative variables. A mosaic plot, fluctuation diagram, or faceted bar chart may be used to display two categorical variables. Other plots are used for one categorical and one quantitative variables.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.